Good afternoon and welcome to India Today. I'm Avantika Singh. Well, first up, let's go straight to Dadri, where the Congress, extremely critical of the demonetization move, is interacting with traders. Let's listen in.
जैसे आंकड़ा निकला राज्यसभा में, मोदी जी ने उसकी भी बात बंद कर दी, कहते कैशलेस इकोनॉमी। मोदी जी कैशलेस तो आपने बना दिया, किसी के पास कैश नहीं है, पूरी दुनिया रो रही है। अब कहते हैं भैया कैशलेस बनाएंगे। कैशलेस का मतलब भी मैं आपको समझा देता हूं। यहां पे किसान आता है मंडी में, अपना पैसा किसान आता है ना, उसको पैसा देता है व्यापारी। जब कैशलेस दुनिया आएगी ना, किसान को पता भी नहीं लगेगा, व्यापारी को पता भी नहीं लगेगा, 5% पैसा सीधा जाएगा बड़े उद्योगपतियों की जेब।
Okay, that was Rahul Gandhi. We will go back and listen to what he has to tell the traders there. He was addressing the traders in Dadri. But once again, Rahul Gandhi sharpening his attack against the Prime Minister and the government over the demonetization drive. We'll go back and listen in.
बात की 8 नवंबर को नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हिंदुस्तान के गरीबों पर जंग शुरू कर दिया, काला धन सफेद कर दिया। सही बात है, गलत बात? सही बात है। जिसके जो चोर थे उन्होंने अपना सब पैसा बदल दिया, और जो ईमानदार लोग हैं, आप सबको लाइन में खड़ा कर दिया नरेंद्र मोदी ने। मैं आपको बताता हूं ये किया क्यों है इन्होंने। मैंने 2-3 लोगों से पूछा, सीधी सी बात है और आपको ये समझनी है बात। $8 लाख करोड़ रुपया, 8 लाख करोड़ रुपया हिंदुस्तान के 5, 10, 15, 20 सबसे बड़े उद्योगपतियों ने हिंदुस्तान के बैंकों से ले रखा है। वो उसको वापस नहीं दे रहे हैं। उसको नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट कहा जाता है, आपने सुना होगा। ठीक बात है। ठीक है, कुछ नहीं होगा, नहीं गिरेगी। इस 8 लाख रुपए के कारण हिंदुस्तान के बैंक किसी को कर्ज नहीं दे पा रहे थे। नरेंद्र मोदी जी उन उद्योगपतियों से 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए नहीं निकाल सकते हैं, क्योंकि उन्हीं उद्योगपतियों ने मोदी जी की मार्केटिंग की है, मोदी जी को वहां बैठाया है कुर्सी पे। तो बैंक को चालू करने के लिए मोदी जी ने आपके जेब में से पैसा निकाला है, आपको लाइन में खड़ा किया है, और आपका जो कैश है वो आज बैंक के अंदर उन्होंने भर दिया है। उनका लक्ष्य है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा समय के लिए आपका पैसा बैंक में रहे। अगर एटीएम चलती, आपका पैसा बैंक में रहता? अगर 24,000 रुपए का लिमिट नहीं रखते तो आपका पैसा बैंक में रहता? नहीं रहता। मोदी जी चाहते हैं कि 6-8 महीने के लिए हिंदुस्तान के गरीब का पैसा हिंदुस्तान के बैंकों में फंसा रहे। अगर वो पैसा 6-8 महीने के लिए फंसा रहेगा तो बैंक चालू हो जाएंगे और आपके पैसे से वो 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए माफ किए जा सकेंगे। ये लक्ष्य है इस डिमोनेटाइजेशन का। आप मुझे बताओ, ये जो लाइनें लगी हैं, इसमें आपको एक अमीर व्यक्ति दिखाई दे रहा है? कहीं भी हिंदुस्तान में एक अमीर व्यक्ति दिख रहा है आपको? एक भी काले धन वाला आपको इस लाइन में दिख रहा है? काले धन वाले सीधे बैंक में जा रहे हैं, पीछे से पैसा निकाल रहे हैं। कोई कमी नहीं है। आपको मिल रहे हैं 2000 रुपए, और जो भी चोर 100 करोड़, 10 करोड़, 50 करोड़, 1000 करोड़ निकालना चाहता है, वो बैंक के पीछे से निकाल रहा है। ये सच्चाई है, और इससे सिर्फ आपको नुकसान नहीं हुआ है, इससे इसने हिंदुस्तान को चोट पहुंचाई है। पहले इन्होंने कहा कि आतंकवादियों के खिलाफ कदम है। उनके भाषण के 2 दिन के बाद आतंकवादी मरे, उनकी लाश में से नए नोट निकले। फिर कहते भैया नकली नोटों के खिलाफ हमने काम किया। फिर हमने पार्लियामेंट में पूछा, बताओ हिंदुस्तान में नकली नोट कितने हैं? आपको मालूम है हिंदुस्तान में कितने नकली नोट है? 100 रुपए में से 2 पैसे, 100 रुपए में से 2 पैसे नकली हैं। जैसे आंकड़ा निकला राज्यसभा में, मोदी जी ने उसकी भी बात बंद कर दी, कहते कैशलेस इकोनॉमी। मोदी जी कैशलेस तो आपने बना दिया, किसी के पास कैश नहीं है, पूरी दुनिया रो रही है। अब कहते हैं भैया कैशलेस बनाएंगे। कैशलेस का मतलब भी मैं आपको समझा देता हूं। यहां पे किसान आता है मंडी में,
Okay, let's go straight across to RP Singh from the BJP. Sir, good afternoon. Thanks so much for speaking to us. I don't know if you got a chance to hear Rahul Gandhi, but once again, he has, only sharpened his attack and seeking questions on the ill preparedness of the government to deal with the aftermath of the demonetization. How do you respond?
See, I think he's suffering from some disorder. I mean, there's a photo of
Why
disorder.
do you say that, sir?
I'm telling you, coming back to on that. Because he has not spoken one constructive idea, one constructive thought. He has not given in the parliament. How to improve? I mean, I remember he started with saying, we are for demonetization, it's good, but implementation is bad. And then they changed their stand. I mean, and then he said the Prime Minister never shared with anyone, but shared with the FM, but BJP knew about it. But he's confused. He doesn't know what he's speaking, and he's been changing and shifting goalposts. When they said PM should sit in the parliament and answer, then they said PM should apologize.
But that apart, sir, the efficacy of demonetization may be questioned, but one can't help ignore the long queues. I mean, those lines are just not finishing. There is a severe liquidity crisis. It's been more than a month.
I understand and I appreciate there's a liquidity crisis, and that's been taken care by the government, and there's a process for that. And Prime Minister asked time for 30th December, and by that time things will be taken care. And also by this process, we are shifting society overall to cashless economy, where people can use swipe mobile phones or use ordinary mobile phone also to do their transaction. And ultimately, when there's a cashless society, it doesn't it help corruption? Go against corruption?
But has it?
No, it's too early.
But the IT raids that have been happening, sir, which is a good thing. One is appreciative of the Income Tax Department cracking down on the cash mafia. But just take a look at how these unscrupulous elements, despite a move like this, are still hoarding cash in new currency notes.
We know that 400 bank managers are under scrutiny now. And there's things operation conducted by the government itself. So it's not that government is letting. I mean, obviously people take advantage of loopholes and people take advantage of the situation, but that doesn't mean government is sleeping over it. Government is quite active on it, and government has made up its mind.
No, but it hasn't really acted as a deterrent.
No. How do you know it's not acted as a deterrent? I mean, when the people have been raided, the lawyers, the income tax officers, and everyone has been raided, and the bankers and everyone is raided, arrested. I mean, that acts as a deterrent.
All right, let me get Tom Vadakan from the Congress. Sir, how would you respond to what Mr. RP Singh said, that this is a long time thing, India is moving to a cashless society, but the reality on the ground is very different from what is being seen from the government?
Avantika, what can you comment on a visually challenged party? The writing is on the wall. The suffering of the people are seen in the streets. And they continue to be in their Alice in Wonderland syndrome, believing that everything is honky-dory. The situation is fast moving out of control. He's talking about raid. That's a tip of an iceberg. The reality is, what their own people have done and the kind of connected people who have hoarded money, and that too in brand new currency. And then you have the RSS guru who says that 2,000 rupees is also going to be demonetized.
Yes.
I really don't know what is happening in this party. There's nobody who can bell the cat. That is the situation. They don't have the nerve to tell somebody, look, this is time that you stop this. Because the solutions are not there. They really are going ahead with steps which they don't know where they are heading for.
Absolutely. Mr. R.P. Singh, how would you, respond to that? And also, if I just talk about the general public, sir, there has been an outpouring of public support for the initiative in the beginning. But, sir, patience is running thin. I mean, the lines, if you have seen around your house, they just are not finishing. In fact, there's serpentine queues. Why is the situation not improving? And those questions will be asked, sir.
Okay, let me start with what Mr. Vadakan said about some RSS guru. I never heard about any RSS guru there. I'm sorry, he has poor knowledge.
He was talking
RSS.
about S. Gurumurthy.
So, S. Gurumurthy is not an RSS guru. I mean, I'm sorry, he has a poor knowledge about. He's an individual who's a chartered accountant. He can have his opinion. He's a Sansevak. That's point aside. But he's not an RSS guru. Secondly, and he has an individual opinion. I mean, he can anyone individual can have opinion. Tomorrow I can have opinion. Mr. Vadakan has opinion. Can have opinion. But the issue is bigger. The lines which are there day one are the same lines today? No. They have reduced. The people now, it's not like earlier I understand there were 200, 300 people, now there are 20, 30 people now there. There's a process which is happening, and we are gradually asking society to convert to cashless society so that, again, when it's cashless, it affects the corruption also. Well, however, when every transaction is marked, every transaction is tracked, so obviously it's gradually it will help to curb the corruption also. Ultimate objective is to curb corruption, and Congress has no right to speak on all this because they are the one who has perpetrated corruption in this country, who has ensured that this country was looted of some 12 lakh crore rupees and made the banks bankrupt. I mean, this was the only government, the UPA government, which left the power, it left all the banks bankrupt.
If I may just ask you a question, and you would call him an RSS ideologue, wouldn't you? S. Gurumurthy, Mr. Gurumurthy, who said that even now the new 2,000 notes will be phased out within 5 years. How would you respond to that?
Well, it's individual opinion. I mean, any individual can have an opinion. I mean, he is not a government functionary.
But sir, it's not just any opinion.
He's neither is an RSS functionary. He's a member of RSS like I am, like any other RSS, like any other member is. Okay. So he's an individual who's a member. He's not an RSS functionary. So he's a member, and individual has a right to say what he has to say. So since he's a chartered accountant and holds some command on financial issues, so he can have right to have his opinion. Okay. But that doesn't. It's not a BJP or the RSS or the government opinion for that regard.
Mr. Tom Vadakan, would you respond to that, please?
Well, I heard Mr. Singh admit that he's also a member of the RSS. He's a worthy member of the RSS, yes. Mr. Gurumurthy indeed is a very respected guide to the RSS. I am sorry I used the word guru. He's an advisor. He's a very competent person and has come in public domain. Why doesn't the RSS chief immediately clarify that? That is his view. Instead of asking Mr. Singh to, rattle out all these details. He talked about Congress's corruption. I mean, this is one sing song that they've been carrying on for some time. But the reality is now there is today's papers were having leading stories regarding MOS Home, who has been the honest icon face. So let's talk less about these kind of issues, because the essential fact is he said now it's only 20 people. Yesterday evening about 9 o'clock,
right.
I was crossing South Delhi, and there were huge queues. What is he talking about? I know to count figures. 2030 is some figure which he thinks is there, but the reality is when the temperature hits 10, 12, people standing in the line asking for their own money.
The one thing that I really wanted to ask you is, since you're representing the opposition, the Congress party, is that why is it that all these big announcements, these statements are being made outside Parliament? Why is it that nobody is talking about this serious matter, about the kind of inconvenience and hardships that the common man is facing within Parliament? I mean, there's an accusation even against your party about, the opposition holding Parliament to ransom, and we've all been witness to it. Those unrelenting disruptions. No business has been transacted. Can we afford this at that time, at a time like this?
Avantika, what is the humble request of the opposition? They are asking the man, the prime mover, who spoke on the 8th, to come to Parliament House, speak out his mind. Where is this all heading for? Take some questions from opposition MPs. What have we done wrong? Isn't that a basic right of an opposition party to ask the Prime Minister, who makes huge speeches, humongous speeches, brilliant speaker, across the country, he talks on the telephone, he talks
But
on...
sir, he was present in both houses of
No,
Parliament.
he is present. Avantika, let me put a focus on his presence. He was in the question hour period. He sat there
Yes.
and then went out. He's been in the House, I agree. He's been in his chambers. But the point is, the humble opposition is only asking few questions. Let him come. It's not the finance minister who announced this whole scheme. It is not the RBI governor. The Prime Minister came forward and spoke. And the way he spoke, he addressed the nation. We're only asking him to come to the House, state facts, where is this all heading for, what is the map forward, and the road map forward.
Right.
These are humble questions that in a democracy, any opposition has a right. I think you'll agree on that.
Oh, well, I'm had no position to agree with anyone. I'm just, here to state facts. But, sir, just stay with me, please. We are getting a reaction from the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi. Let's just listen in to him first.
बैंक जाओ तो बैंक में
8 लाख करोड़ रुपया 8 लाख करोड़ रुपया हिंदुस्तान के 5, 10, 15, 20 सबसे बड़े उद्योगपतियों ने हिंदुस्तान के बैंकों से ले रखा है। वो उसको वापस नहीं दे रहे हैं। उसको नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट कहा जाता है। आपने सुना होगा। नरेंद्र मोदी जी उन उद्योगपतियों से 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए नहीं निकाल सकते हैं, क्योंकि उन्हीं उद्योगपतियों ने मोदी जी की मार्केटिंग की है, मोदी जी को वहां बैठाया है कुर्सी पे।
Let's go straight across now to India Today's executive editor Javed Ansari. Javed, this is the situation. The lines are not becoming any lesser. In fact, they're only getting longer. There is a severe liquidity crunch. The banks are working overtime, and questions are being asked. How would you, how are you seeing the entire scenario? The opposition and the government indulging in the usual blame game, trading charges at each other, while people like you and me actually are the ones suffering.
Well, indeed, that indeed is the case, and that indeed is the pity, because initially people bought into this. They saw in this government, they saw in the personality of Prime Minister Narendra Modi a latter day Robin Hood. They were hoping that the rich will be punished, the poor's pain will be taken care of. And now the reverse is happening. And what we are seeing from Rahul Gandhi is that he's taken this battle to the people. The opposition believes that now the tide is turning, that people suffering, their patience is growing thin, and therefore they want to cash in on that. But that notwithstanding, something needs to be done, because the government privately has been indicating that by the 31st they'll be able to put back at least 50%. If the government claims 50%, you can rest assured the figure will be much less. The amount of money that they'll be able to make available to people. That's not enough to mitigate the sufferings of ordinary folks. From my own village, I can tell you stories where people are now indulging in this barter system, where they're giving their produce and buying vegetables and daily essentials.
Yes.
So they're suffering. Nothing's being done to ameliorate their suffering. And until that is tackled, no matter what the government says, whether this is counterfeit, whether this is cashless economy, digital India, whatever, this is not going to sell, because people are suffering and it's hurting them now.
Right. Javed, thanks so much for joining us.